Emma Sterling fixed her dress for what felt like the 100th time that evening. She felt like everyone was watching her at the party in the fancy ballroom. Her best friend Rebecca had just married a rich guy from Boston, and the party at the Thornwood estate was really something. There were crystal lights hanging from the ceiling that made pretty colors on the fancy floors. A group of musicians were playing music, but you could barely hear it over the quiet talk of all the guests. Emma Sterling was still getting used to all the attention. She kept touching her dress to make sure it was okay. The wedding of her friend Rebecca was a big deal, and Emma Sterling was happy to be a part of it. Emma felt like she could not breathe. She was really upset. Felt trapped. Emma just felt so stuck. She did not know what to do. Every person who knew her family, every person her dad did business with, and every friend of her family seemed to want to tell her that it was her turn now. She is 26 years old. Still works at a small art gallery, still lives in her small apartment, and still does not have a boyfriend. People talk about her all the time. They say it is too bad that her dad lost all his money before he died. She could have had a life. They say she is a girl, but she does not try hard enough. People ask why she does not want to get married. The art gallery where she works is not a deal, and her apartment is not fancy. Her life is just not what people expected it to be. Every time she sees her relatives or her dad's business associates or her family friends, they remind her that she is next in line. They talk about her like she is not there. They say she should be doing more with her life, like getting a job or finding a husband. The whispers about her follow her everywhere she goes. People feel sorry for her because of what happened to her dad. They think she could have done more with her life if her dad had not lost all his money. When Mrs. Henderson cornered Emma near the champagne fountain with another story about her nephew, Emma got away. She went out the doors to the terrace. Then she walked down the stone steps to the gardens. The air in September was cool. It smelled nice. There were roses that were still blooming, and something else too. This something else was wild. It made Emma feel strange. It made her skin feel funny, like something was going to happen. The smell of the blooming roses and this wild thing made Emma feel aware of everything around her, like Mrs. Henderson and her nephew were far away. The garden maze was right in front of Emma, its hedges looking silver and green in the light of the moon. She did not think about it, she just walked into the maze, happy to be alone. Her shoes made a sound on the stone path as she walked around the turns, going deeper into the maze because she felt like she had to. The noise of the party got quieter and quieter until all Emma could hear was the wind blowing through the leaves and her own heart beating fast. The garden maze was pulling her in. She kept walking the garden maze, getting darker and more quiet with every step. She walked into a clearing in the middle of the maze. There was a fountain in the center. It was really old. Made of stone. The stone had carvings of snakes on it. Water came out of the snakes' mouths. It made a sound that was like music. This sound seemed to be from a time ago. Emma sat down on the edge of the fountain. She could finally breathe again. The fountain was beautiful. Emma was happy to have found it. The maze was big. It took her a while to get to the clearing. Now she was there. She could rest. Emma looked at the fountain. The water coming out of the snakes' mouths. It was very pretty. That was when she heard the footsteps. She realized that someone was coming. That is when she heard the footsteps again. The sound of the footsteps was really loud. That is what made her hear the footsteps so clearly. Her head jerked up when a person came into the clearing from the side. This person was really something, even though the moon was behind him. He was a guy with wide shoulders, and he moved in a way that looked really smooth. When he walked into the middle of the clearing, the moon shone on his face. Emma's breath stopped. The person, he was very handsome. Emma could not help but stare at the person. The person's face was lit up by the moon. It made Emma feel like she could not breathe. This man was good looking. He had cheekbones and a strong jaw that made his face look amazing. His hair was very dark. Fell to his collar in waves. What really caught her eye was his eyes. Even when it was not very bright, his eyes seemed to shine from the inside. They were a silver color, like the moon when it is full. His eyes were what really got her attention. The way he looked was special. It was not just that he was handsome, he was more than that. For a long time Emma and the guy just looked at each other in the empty space. Emma felt like she was stuck. She could not say a word. The way he was looking at her was scary, like he was waiting to pounce on her. Instead of being afraid, Emma felt a weird excitement going down her back. The guy was looking at her in a way that was a little strange. Emma felt it again, that thrill that she did not expect to feel. Emma was looking back at the guy. She could not help but feel that he was watching her, waiting for something to happen. The voices broke the spell. These were voices, male voices, and they were coming through the maze. The voices were getting closer and closer, louder, with every second that went by. Emma knew who they were away. It was Richard Pemberton and his friends, men who had been drinking all night at the party. Richard Pemberton had been trying to get her attention for a time, but she always said no to him. She did not like Richard Pemberton. She did not want to be around him. The idea of Richard Pemberton trapping her with no one to help her made Emma very scared. The stranger must have seen something in Emma's face, because he stood up a little straighter. When Emma looked at him again, she saw that he got it. His eyes showed that he understood what was going on. Emma did not think about what she was doing. She just did it because she had to. Emma crossed the clearing in 3 steps, and then she threw herself against the stranger's chest. The stranger was a man that Emma did not know. Emma was acting on instinct because she was desperate. Emma just wanted to be close to the stranger. She whispered to me, her voice really soft, "Pretend to hug me." I could hardly hear what she was saying, even though we were standing in a quiet garden. She said, "Please, for a moment, okay? Let us pretend like we are friends, like we know each other well." He just stood there for a moment, not moving all. Then his arms went around Emma, holding her close to him. He was really strong. He was also very gentle. Emma put her face against his shoulder. Smelled something nice. It was like cedar and spice. There was something else too that she could not quite figure out. This smell made Emma feel funny, like she really wanted to be close to him. His temperature really shocked her the most. She could feel the cold coming from his skin through his suit and her thin dress. This was not a little chill from being outside on a cold night. It was a deep cold that made her think his body did not have any warmth at all. The cold from his skin was so strong that it felt like it was going through to her bones. His body temperature was what really got her attention. Before she could think about what she had found out, Richard and his friends suddenly ran into the clearing. "There you are, Emma," Richard said in a voice. He had much expensive scotch, and it was clear in the way he talked. "We have been looking over for you. Why do not you leave this garden party? Come have a real drink with the people I am with." Emma felt the stranger's arms get a little tighter around her. The stranger's body changed in a way that made Emma think he was ready to do something at any moment. When the stranger spoke, his voice was really smooth, like whiskey. Emma could also hear something sharp in his voice, like steel, that made her feel uneasy. The stranger's voice was smooth. It was also kind of scary, like the stranger himself. "The lady is busy now, gentlemen. I think you should go back to the reception." There was something about the way he spoke and carried himself that made Richard stop, even though he was drunk. The 3 men looked at each other, and for a moment they seemed unsure. It was like they realized they were dealing with something that they just did not get. The 3 men, Richard and the other 2, faced this thing that they could not understand. Richard said, "Who the hell are you?" He did not sound very sure of himself. He was trying to act, but it was pretty clear that he was not. Richard wanted to know who this person was, so he asked again, "Who are you?" Waited for an answer. The stranger smiled at Emma. She felt her stomach drop when she saw his teeth. His teeth were a little too long and a little too sharp. The moon was shining on them. That made Emma catch her breath. The stranger's canines were really catching the moonlight in a way that made Emma feel weird. The sight of the stranger's teeth made Emma feel scared. "I am Dominic Ashford," he said in a voice. "I am having a talk with someone. You are interrupting us. I want you to leave. I want you to leave now. Dominic Ashford is not a person to be messed with. Dominic Ashford expects people to respect his wishes. Leave Dominic Ashford and his friend alone." The command in Richard's voice was really strong. Richard and his friends took a step back like they had been shoved. Then they turned around. Ran back, into the maze. "I am Dominic Ashford," he said in a voice. "I am having a talk with someone. You are interrupting us. I want you to leave. I want you to leave now. Dominic Ashford is not a person to be messed with. Dominic Ashford expects people to respect his wishes. Leave Dominic Ashford and his friend alone." The command in Richard's voice was really strong. Richard and his friends took a step back like they had been shoved. Then they turned around. Ran back, into the maze. They did not say anything. Richard and his friends just kept going. The moment they were gone, Emma tried to step, but Dominic's arms held her firmly in place. He did not hurt her. He was holding her so tightly that it was clear Dominic would only let Emma go when Dominic wanted to. "Thank you," she said. Her voice was shaking a bit. "You can let go of me," she told him, meaning the man who was holding her. The woman wanted him to let go of her. She said it again, "You can let go." "Can I?" He said this. It sounded like he was laughing at something that was not funny. "Are you really sure you want me to do this, Emma Sterling?" She just stood there still. "How do you know what my name is?" "I know a lot of things." He let her go at last, but he did not move back, so they were standing close. She had to lean her head to look at him because his eyes were kind of scary. "For example, I know that you have been having dreams about me for the 3 months. You have the dream every night. A man with eyes is calling to you from the dark, saying he will give you answers to things you do not even know you want to ask." Emma's blood turned to ice. The dreams that she was having were really scary. God, those dreams were haunting her when she was sleeping. They were making her feel restless and hurt in a way that she did not understand. She had not told anyone about the dreams. She had barely even admitted to herself that she was having them. How could this stranger possibly know about Emma's dreams? "What are you?" This question came out of her mouth before she could even think about it. She did not mean to ask what you are. It just happened. Dominic's smile got bigger, showing more of his sharp teeth. "I think you already know this, Emma. The blood in your body remembers even if you do not remember it yourself. Your family knew people like Dominic well. A long time ago they knew creatures like Dominic. The sky was clear a minute ago, but now thunder was rumbling in the distance. Then the wind started blowing hard. It sent rose petals flying around the clearing, kind of like when it snows. Emma felt like the ground was moving under her feet. Everything she thought was true about the world was falling apart like sand when you try to hold it in your hand. The world was not what Emma thought it was. This realization was really scary for Emma. The rose petals were still swirling around her. The thunder was getting louder, making Emma feel even more scared and unsure about the world and her place in it. "This is crazy," she whispered. "You are telling me that vampires are real? That you are a vampire? This is about vampires being real. You are a vampire. I want to tell you that the world is a lot bigger than what people think it is today. The world has a lot of things that most people do not know about. I want to tell you that you, Emma Sterling, are very important to this other world that is hidden from most people. You are more important to this hidden world than you can even think of, Emma Sterling." Before she could say anything, Dominic's head turned quickly towards the entrance of the maze. His whole body became very stiff and tense all of a sudden. His eyes, which were a little strange before, were now shining brightly in the dark like two moons that light up the night. He told her that Victor's hunters are coming. They found her really fast. He did not think they would find her soon. He took Emma's hand. His fingers were very cold. He held her wrist tight. He wanted Emma to listen to him. What happens now will decide if Emma lives or dies. He asked Emma if she trusts him. He wanted Emma to trust him so he could help her. Victor's hunters are a problem, for Emma. Emma looked into those unusual silver eyes and felt that the truth was really real to her. This moment was something she had been waiting for her life. Every single weird dream she had and every time she had a feeling that she could not explain had been leading her to this place, to this man, to this decision about what to do with the man. She heard herself say yes. "I trust you," she said to him, the words feeling a little strange. She really did trust this person, so she said it again, "I trust you." Dominic pulled her close again. This time it was not about romance. It was about survival. Dark shapes started to come out of the entrances to the clearing. The Dominic and her situation was getting scary. These figures moved fast and really smooth. Their eyes looked red in the moonlight like when you catch an animal in your car. They did not say anything. Richard and his friends just kept going. The moment they were gone, Emma tried to step, but Dominic's arms held her firmly in place. He did not hurt her. He was holding her so tightly that it was clear Dominic would only let Emma go when Dominic wanted to. "Thank you," she said. Her voice was shaking a bit. "You can let go of me," she told him, meaning the man who was holding her. The woman wanted him to let go of her. She said it again, "You can let go." "Can I?" He said this. It sounded like he was laughing at something that was not funny. "Are you really sure you want me to do this, Emma Sterling?" She just stood there still. "How do you know what my name is?" "I know a lot of things." He let her go at last, but he did not move back, so they were standing close. She had to lean her head to look at him because his eyes were kind of scary. "For example, I know that you have been having dreams about me for the 3 months. You have the dream every night. A man with eyes is calling to you from the dark, saying he will give you answers to things you do not even know you want to ask." Emma's blood turned to ice. The dreams that she was having were really scary. God, those dreams were haunting her when she was sleeping. They were making her feel restless and hurt in a way that she did not understand. She had not told anyone about the dreams. She had barely even admitted to herself that she was having them. How could this stranger possibly know about Emma's dreams? "What are you?" This question came out of her mouth before she could even think about it. She did not mean to ask what you are. It just happened. Dominic's smile got bigger, showing more of his sharp teeth. "I think you already know this, Emma. The blood in your body remembers even if you do not remember it yourself. Your family knew people like Dominic well. A long time ago they knew creatures like Dominic. The sky was clear a minute ago, but now thunder was rumbling in the distance. Then the wind started blowing hard. It sent rose petals flying around the clearing, kind of like when it snows. Emma felt like the ground was moving under her feet. Everything she thought was true about the world was falling apart like sand when you try to hold it in your hand. The world was not what Emma thought it was. This realization was really scary for Emma. The rose petals were still swirling around her. The thunder was getting louder, making Emma feel even more scared and unsure about the world and her place in it. "This is crazy," she whispered. "You are telling me that vampires are real? That you are a vampire? This is about vampires being real. You are a vampire. I want to tell you that the world is a lot bigger than what people think it is today. The world has a lot of things that most people do not know about. I want to tell you that you, Emma Sterling, are very important to this other world that is hidden from most people. You are more important to this hidden world than you can even think of, Emma Sterling. Before she could say anything, Dominic's head turned quickly towards the entrance of the maze. His whole body became very stiff and tense all of a sudden. His eyes, which were a little strange before, were now shining brightly in the dark like two moons that light up the night. He told her that Victor's hunters are coming. They found her really fast. He did not think they would find her soon. He took Emma's hand. His fingers were very cold. He held her wrist tight. He wanted Emma to listen to him. What happens now will decide if Emma lives or dies. He asked Emma if she trusts him. He wanted Emma to trust him so he could help her. Victor's hunters are a problem for Emma. Emma looked into those unusual silver eyes and felt that the truth was really real to her. This moment was something she had been waiting for her life. Every single weird dream she had and every time she had a feeling that she could not explain had been leading her to this place, to this man, to this decision about what to do with the man. She heard herself say yes. "I trust you," she said to him, the words feeling a little strange. She really did trust this person, so she said it again, "I trust you." Dominic pulled her close again. This time it was not about romance. It was about survival. Dark shapes started to come out of the entrances to the clearing. The Dominic and her situation was getting scary. These figures moved fast and really smooth. Their eyes looked red in the moonlight, like when you catch an animal in your car headlights at night. The figures were like animals. Dominic knew they were not animals, they were something else. Dominic and her were in trouble. They had to do something to survive, or else the dark shapes would get them. "Hold on to me," Dominic commanded. "And whatever you do, do not let go." The world was a blur of dark and light as Dominic was moving. Emma really did not have any way to describe it. He was not jumping or flying, but they were suddenly not in the garden anymore. One minute she was surrounded by people with red eyes, the next minute she was standing in a really fancy apartment with windows that went all the way from the floor to the ceiling, and she could see the city of Boston all lit up outside. Emma's legs gave out. Dominic caught her easily, helping her to a leather sofa. What had just happened was really hard for her to understand. The speed was crazy, it was like distance did not even matter, and the way Dominic got them out of a bad situation was amazing. Dominic had done it all calmly and precisely, it was like nothing could hurt them when they were with him. Dominic. She was really surprised. Asked, "How did you do that?" Her heart was beating fast and it felt like it was hitting her ribs. Dominic said, "I have been doing lots of things for a long time, about 400 years now." He walked over to a bar cart. Poured some brown liquor into a fancy glass. "It is practice," he said. Then he handed her the glass. "Here, drink this. It will help you feel better because you are in shock." Emma took the whiskey with hands that were shaking badly. She drank half of the whiskey in one gulp and it felt like it was on fire going down. The whiskey helped her feel a little better. Nothing was going to make her ready for the talk she knew she was going to have with someone. The conversation about the whiskey and what was going on was really scary for Emma. Dominic sat down in a chair across from her. His silver eyes stayed fixed on her face. The light from the lamp in the penthouse was soft. It made him look like a real person. Emma could not forget what she knew about him now. She noticed the way he did not move all when he was still. Dominic did not seem to breathe. His skin was very pale and perfect. It was clear that his skin had not been in the sun for a long time, for centuries even. Emma thought about this as she looked at Dominic. The truth was that Dominic was not like her. Emma said to him, "You told me I was important to your world." She was surprised that her voice did not shake. "Why do you think that?" she asked. "I am not important. I am a girl. I work at a gallery. My family lost everything we had." Dominic said, "Your family lost their money, yes. They did not lose the things that are really important. Not the thing that has made the Sterling family special for over 300 years. The Sterling family has always had this one thing that sets them apart. That is still true today, for the Sterling family. He got up and walked over to a bookshelf, then he picked up an old book with a leather cover. When he opened this book, Emma saw that the pages were filled with handwriting and family trees with a lot of details. Emma was really surprised when she saw some names that she knew. She saw her grandmother's name and her grandmother's name. These names went all the way back to the 1600s. They were all connected to each other with no gaps in the family line. The family line of Emma's family was really long, going back to the 1600s. The Sterling family has a rare thing in their genes, Dominic said. This thing happens to one person in 100,000 people. The blood of the Sterling family has a kind of protein that makes it possible to change completely without the bad things that usually happen when people change. When people change, they often become like animals. They do not think, they just want to eat. But people with the Sterling family blood stay the same, they are still themselves. They also get the things that vampires have. The Sterling family blood is special, it lets them change and still be who they are, and they also get all the things that vampires get, which is really cool. The Sterling family is really lucky to have this blood. Emma looked at the book. It had her family tree in it. There were a lot of names she did not know. These names kept showing up again over the centuries. Emma said, "You are saying that my ancestors, the people in my family tree, were actually vampires?" Some people were vampires. Others decided to stay human, they knew what was inside them. Your great-grandmother Constance was a very powerful vampire, in the Americas. She was one of the powerful vampires before she chose to walk into the sun. This happened after her human husband died. Constance wanted her children to have a choice that she never had. Constance never had the chance to decide what she wanted to be, so she wanted her children to be able to choose for themselves. This news was really heavy on Emma. It felt like something was pushing down on her. She thought about all the stories her family told, all the strange things they whispered about. She used to think these stories were just made up. Now they seemed real and really scary. The stories about her family that she did not believe before, these stories now made sense to Emma in a way. Those men in the garden, she said slowly. They are Victor's hunters. They want her because of this thing, with her bloodline. The bloodline is the reason they want her. Dominic's face turned serious. Victor Blackthorne is in charge of all the vampires on the East Coast. For a long time, 200 years, he has been looking for someone like you. He thinks that if he can make you a vampire, you will be his and do what he says. He wants to make a lot of vampires like you, vampires that are smart and will listen to him. Victor Blackthorne wants to be the boss of all the vampires. He wants to get rid of the council and be in charge of everything so he can do what he wants. Victor Blackthorne would have all the power. Nobody could stop him. You? Emma looked at him. What do you want from Emma? For the time, Dominic's face showed something that was almost like a feeling. I want you to have the choice that was taken away from Constance, he said. I want the Vampire Academy students to have the choice to decide what happens to them, to have control over their life, the choice that was stolen from Constance, the choice to make their own decisions and decide their own fate, the same choice that Constance did not have. Why do you care? She said this. It sounded a lot more personal than she meant it to. The question came out. It was clear that she was really feeling something. She did not mean for it to sound that way. Dominic was really quiet for a bit, his silver eyes looking at her hard that it made her face get hot even though it was freezing cold around him. He said, I saw you 3 months ago in a dream. Sometimes the old blood lets us see what might happen in the future. I saw you standing where 2 roads meet. I saw the 2 roads in front of you. On one road you would belong to Victor. He would change you into a weapon that cannot think for itself or make its own choices. The old blood showed me this and I have been thinking about it a lot. Dominic thought about the vision of her and the 2 paths, the old blood and its visions of the future and what it meant for her and for him. You really stand out like a star. This changes everything we thought we knew about the boundary between humans and vampires. The human thing, it is not what we thought it was, thanks to you. You are making us see the boundary between humans and vampires in a new way. Which path was I on in your vision? I really had no idea what was going to happen. The future is always up in the air. But one thing I was sure of: I had to find you. I had to make sure you were safe and sound for enough so that you could make your own decision about things. Emma got up fast and walked over to the windows. The city was down below her. There were millions of people there just living their normal lives. They had no idea that supernatural forces were moving around in their world. Emma was like them a little while ago. Now the supernatural forces had changed everything for Emma. The city was still below Emma, but it looked different to her now. She said to him, "You said I have been dreaming of you." She pressed her hand against the glass. "Why did you say that, about me dreaming of you? When vampire blood finds a bloodline that it likes, something happens between them. I did not mean for this to happen. I want you to know that. Your vampire blood has been trying to talk to you. It knows what you are supposed to be." He stopped talking for a moment. "The dreams that you had, were they nice, I hope?" Emma felt her face get hot thinking about those dreams. They were so real and romantic. She felt loved and wanted in those dreams in ways that never happened when she was awake. Emma felt like she was special in those dreams. "Those dreams were confusing," Emma said. A small smile came onto Dominic's face. He said to Emma Sterling, "I have been having dreams of my own. Dreams of a future where you and I are together. You make me a better person, Emma Sterling, and I can keep you safe. I have been around for a very long time. I have learned that what is meant to be is not always what happens. Destiny is an idea. It does not always work out that way, Emma Sterling." Before Emma could say anything, the windows just blew in. Glass went flying everywhere. Emma screamed because some scary people came pouring in through the broken windows, and they were moving so fast it did not seem human. Dominic was there in a flash, and he stood between Emma and these scary people, the intruders. There were 5 vampires. They were all very scary. They looked like they could lose control and hurt someone at any moment. Then this other person came in, walking really calmly through the broken window, and that is when Dominic completely froze. He just stopped moving because of this vampire. The new vampire was the one who really caught Dominic's attention. That is why he went utterly still. Victor Blackthorne was a beautiful person, like a snake or a spider can be beautiful. He had this hair that looked amazing and emerald eyes that were really green. His face was like something you would see on Greek statues. Victor Blackthorne wore a suit that was tailored for him, and it probably cost a lot of money, more than Emma makes in a whole year. Victor Blackthorne smiled at Emma with a lot of confidence, like he always got what he wanted and nobody ever said no to him. "Dominic Ashford," Victor said in a voice. His voice was sweet. It was not a nice sweet. It was like honey that can hurt you. "You are still trying to protect people, I see, Dominic Ashford. Did you really think you could keep her safe from me in your own home, Dominic Ashford?" "I have people who tell me things, my old friend." Dominic said this quietly. He said, "She is under my protection. If you want to challenge her, you have to challenge me. If you challenge me, you are basically challenging the Northern Council." Victor laughed. It was a sound. The council is getting Dominic. They are holding on to rules, but the world is moving forward. Victor is making something strong. And this girl is very important to Victor. She is the key to everything that Victor is doing. He looked at Emma with his eyes, and she felt like he was actually touching her. "Emma Sterling. You are the girl from a family with very good blood. I have been looking for you for a long time. I have had wrong tips and been to many places that did not work out. Now I have finally found you, and you are even better than I thought you would be." Emma said, "I am not going anywhere with you." She tried to sound strong when she spoke. She was really scared inside. "Oh my dear, you do not understand what I am saying. I am not asking you for anything." Victor gestured with his hand. Then two of his vampires moved forward really fast. Dominic met them with a lot of violence, moving fast. Emma's eyes could not even keep up with him. The penthouse was like a war zone now. Things were. Walls were cracking because of the fight. Emma stood against the wall that was away from them. She was watching what was happening. It was really scary. Dominic was fighting like his life depended on it. He was fighting for something that was very important to him. The way Dominic was fighting showed that he really cared about Dominic something. Emma saw that Dominic was fighting to protect something. There were too many of them. Every time Dominic managed to defeat a vampire, another one would show up to take its place. Emma caught a glimpse of a blade flashing in the light. Then she saw dark blood spreading across Dominic's shoulder. This really upset her. She felt like something inside of her was breaking apart. The vampires just kept coming. Emma felt helpless as she watched Dominic get hurt. The feeling was really something. It was like a big wave of heat was moving through her body. She could see really clearly all of a sudden. She could even see the tiny bits of dust floating around in the air. The power of the sensation was old and really strong. It was just waiting for her to take it. The power was still inside her, waiting to be used. In that moment Emma understood what was going on. This was what her family's history was about. It was not about being able to become a vampire safely, but it was something more than that. The thing that made her special had been hidden in her genes since Constance Sterling had walked into the sun. This special thing had been passed down to her family members. It had been dormant in her family's genes since then, waiting to come out. Emma's bloodline was special because of what Constance Sterling had left. The woman lifted her hand without thinking about it, and then this really bright light came out of her palm. The light was so strong that it was like an explosion. She had no idea that her hand could do something like that. The woman and her hand and the light were all really surprising. The vampires that were attacking Dominic were thrown backward hard. They slammed into the walls with much force that it could have crushed their bones. Victor himself lost his balance. He usually stayed calm and in control. This time he looked like he was really surprised. He stared at Emma like he could not believe what he was seeing. The vampires attacking Dominic were. Victor was shocked as he looked at Emma with a lot of surprise. "This is not possible," he whispered. "The awakening of the magic should not happen until after the turning of the earth. No human being should be able to use that kind of power of the magic. The magic should still be asleep. It is not time for the magic to be awake yet." Emma looked down at her hands. Saw that they were surrounded by a soft golden glow. The light was gentle, it did not hurt her, it did not burn her skin. It felt nice, like she was finally back with a part of Emma that she never knew she was missing. The golden glow was comforting to Emma. Dominic was next to Emma in a flash, his silver eyes really wide with wonder. "Emma, what Emma just did, it changes everything." The prophecy talked about the person who could walk in both the world and the world of their kind, who could use the power of their kind and still be warm like a human. Dominic thought it was a story that people told. The prophecy is about Emma, and what Emma can do is really important. Dominic is still trying to understand what Emma just did. Victor's shock turned into a desire to have her. He said, "This is more reason why she has to be mine. Think about it, Dominic. If I can control her power, then nothing can stop Victor and his plans. Victor will be able to do anything he wants with her power. Victor knows that Victor and Dominic will be able to do great things together. Victor and Dominic will be unstoppable, with her power bound to Victor's will." Dominic said, "She is not something you can just use for your good." He was really angry now. His teeth were all pointed. "Then what is she?" Victor asked in a way. "Is she your pet or your lover, Ashford? You have to face the truth. The woman cannot stay human with that kind of power growing inside of her. The power will eventually take over her body. She will have to become one of us or the power will destroy her from the inside out. It is better for the woman to join our side now while she still has the chance because that is the winning side and it will be good, for the woman. Emma felt the truth in his words. The power that was inside of her was getting stronger every day. It was becoming really hard for Emma to control the power. The idea of becoming like Victor, who was beautiful but also really cruel and not human at all, made Emma feel sick to her stomach. The power of Victor was something that Emma did not want to have. Emma thought that if she became like Victor she would lose herself, and that was a thought for Emma. She looked at Dominic. She saw the real person, behind the supernatural stuff. She saw the man who had kept her safe, the man who had given her a choice even when it put him in a spot. When she looked into Dominic's silver eyes she found something that surprised her, something she did not think she would ever find in a creature of the night in Dominic.